Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be learning how to cut half scale bodies. You can use it for your peplum blouse, you can use it for your 6 pieces gown, you can use it for a jumpsuit, and this is very easy. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So I'm going to draw out my starting point, which is here. Then I'm going to determine the length of my half length. So my half length is 15 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, that is half inch for joining at the shoulder, because I don't want to add half inch from the shoulder, so I prefer adding it on the waistline. So the remaining half inch is for joining your peplum or your pieces, for joining it together with the half length, so making it 6 inches. So because here is the front, I'm going to be cutting the front bodice first, and front bodice is always longer than the back, especially when you are putting a bustier in it. So I'm going to be adding extra 1.5 inch allowance there, so that by the time I finish sewing it and joining together, I won't fall short of fabric at the front block. And after joining, if the front is now excess than the back, you can then trim it off. So now all the measurements I have all together is 17.5. So I'm going to be taking the 17.5 all through with my pen. Then I will now roll it out with my marker. 17.5. So now I'm going to be taking my vertical measurements, that is from my shoulder to my bust, which is 9 inches. Shoulder to bust 9 inches. Then I'll take my under bust. From my shoulder to my under bust is 13 inches. So because I'm going to be taking half inch from the shoulder, so instead of taking 13 inches, I'm going to increase it with half inch, and that will make it 13.5. So instead of taking 13, I will just take 13.5. So on the bust line, I took 9 inches before. So because I'm going to be taking half inch at the shoulder area, so I'm going to also extend it by half inch. So that will be 9.5 instead of 9 inches. It will be 9.5 inches. What we have. So the next thing is I'll draw my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 7.5. So I have my 7.5 here. So from the 7.5, I'll come down by 1 inch, which will serve as my shoulder slope. So to know where your shoulder slope is going to extend to, you measure 3 inches as your neck depth, which is you can later change the neck width at the end of cutting everything, but just to know where my shoulder line will extend to, I will just measure out 3 inches here. Then I will draw my shoulder slope, which is here. So can you see now? This is my shoulder slope. So now to determine your armhole line, then you are going to be dividing your bust divided by 6 inches. Whatever you get, you had 1.5 to it. So mine is 7.5. So this is 7.5 around here. So I'm going to be drawing the line. This is 7.5 around here. So I'll draw the line. 7.5. So remember, you are going to be taking your 7.5 from your shoulder slope. From the 1 inch shoulder slope, you will be taking the 7.5 after taking your shoulder slope. Remember that. So now I'm going to extend the line I have here. I'm going to extend it up to this place. So that's it. So I'm going to determine, So I'm going to mark out the midpoint, find the midpoint of this. I have 7.5, and the midpoint of 7.5 is 3 3/4, which is around here. It's around here. So now I'll come in by 1/2 inch, which is around here. I'm going to be marking this with my marker. So now you draw a straight line from the shoulder up to the 1/2 inch I have around here. This is my 1/2 inch. Then you use your cup ruler. You can measure out 1 inch from this place, just to guide you, to serve as guide when taking your armhole curve. So it's just a guide, just to give you a guide on what to do. So now this is what I have for my front armhole. So now I'm going to determine my nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches. So I'm going to be dotting the 3.5 lines. I'll dot it here and then I'll rule it out with my marker. So now I'll rule it. So I'll rule it with my marker. So this is it. So from the midpoint at the shoulder line, you will come down by 1/2 inch. You will come down by 1/2 inch, which is around here. Come down by 1/2 inch, which is here. Then you connect this line, this 1/2 inch here, you connect it to this place. This 1/2 inch, you connect it to this place. Then you come from this 1/2 inch again, you come down by 1/2 inch here. Can you see? From this 1/2 inch, you come down by 1/2 inch again. Then you draw the line. So if another thing you do is you come down here from your bust point, you come down by 1/2 inch. If you are someone that has a small boobs, you come down by 1/2 inch. But if someone that has a big boobs, you can come down by 1 inch. So I'm coming down by 1/2 inch here. So now you draw this place, draw it here, draw it here as well. So now the next thing you do is you take 1 inch on both sides. If you are someone that is busty, you can take 1 inch at this side and take 2 inches at this side. And you can just take whatever that you want to take. You can just take it on one side and leave this place straight like this, and take whatever you want to take. You can just put it in one place, but I will be distributing mine, and I'll be using 1 inch on both sides, because if you are not busty and you use 1 inch here and you use 2 inches here, you will have excess around this place. It will be excess. So now if you are someone that has a small boobs, just use 1 inch on both sides. So I'll be using 1 inch on both sides. Going to mark with my pen first. So also at the waistline, you'll be taking the same thing you took here is what you will take here. So now I'm going to draw with my marker. So this is what I have with my marker. So now I'm going to be curving by using my cup ruler. So So from this ½ inch here, you bring the curve from this ½ inch here. You have to bring down. You have to bring the curve from this ½ inch. Remember, can you see the curve? You repeat the same thing here as well. From this ½ inch, you bring out the curve from this ½ inch around here, and you bring out the curve. Can you see what we have here? Then remember to blend these sharp edges. I use a straight ruler, so you are going to be curving it. So this is what I have. So you have this after curving it. So this place as well, you are going to be curving this place because you don't want to have a sharp edge around there. Can you see? So this is going to be the new line. This place is going to be the new line. Can you see now? So this is what I have after curving it. This is what I have after curving it. Then you take your measurement now. So my So now from this line, you need to extend it by 1½ inches. You don't want to fall short of fabric at this area, so you need to extend it at least from 1½ up to 2 inches. I don't like adding 1 inch because at times when I add 1 inches, I still fall short a little bit, although not too much, but a little bit. So I like adding up to 1½ up to 2 inches. It's better you have excess around here and cut it off when you are sewing than for you to be short of fabric around here. So now I'm going to extend this line by 1½ Can you see now? Remember to add this, don't make mistake. Then you now take the armhole curve again. You need to reshape your armhole after taking this. So can you see what I have here? So by the time you join it, it will go back in place. So now I'm going to determine my neck. I'll just use the standard neck measurement since this is just a pattern. So I'll be using 3 inches by 3 inches depth. So this is just a pattern. If I want to cut a particular style, I can make the neck wider and, you know, come down more than this. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it like this. Then you curve your neck, so then you shape it out. So this is all about the half length. So I'm just going to, you know, label it. So I'm going to cut it out now. This is what I have after cutting it off. Can you see?